Hollywood is so blatantly telling you who they worship and who they serve that if you don't see it at this point, you're the fool in this scenario. So I'm a little surprised that this one didn't get as much play in the, I guess you could say, YouTube sphere over the course of the last couple of weeks, because apparently this is a music video from Justin Timberlake that just released about 2 weeks ago. It has about 1.8 million views on YouTube as of this recording, so it'll probably be somewhere about 2 million in the course of the next week or so. But this is his new music video. It's called No Angels. Vigilant Citizen here wrote an article about this, covering this, showing pretty much everyone that this music video that is being put up on his official YouTube channel. So this is an official thing, and it is so steep with blatant satanic and blatant demonic and blatant Luciferian symbolism throughout the entire video. You would have to be a fool at this point to look at what is happening in Hollywood and still deny who's behind this. So let's talk about this here for a second. Let's go down and kind of read a little bit here. This is basically just talking about, the Justin Timberlake that we all knew, we all grew up with. Some of you guys may remember him way back in the day with the Mickey Mouse Club. He was in that thing, I think it was like the early 90s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like late 80s, early 90s. I don't remember exactly when that whole time frame was. But in the late 1990s, he was a big star in the boy band NSYNC. That's probably where the overwhelming majority of people remember him from, was that band. A few years into that band, he decided to become a solo artist, so he became his own thing. He was doing a lot of R&B music at that time period, so he did albums throughout the entire 2000s. That was kind of like his big thing. But now Justin is 43 years old, and he's trying to, I guess, make a music comeback now. And he apparently did a couple of songs right before this one that were kind of like went over people's heads. But then he went and did this music video, a song that is titled No Angels. And people have been sharing this music video. People have been pointing things out, that there's a lot of demonic undertones here going on in this film. I mean, not sorry, this music video, I should say. But it's to the point now, we see this with the entertainment industry, specifically with the music industry. It seems like when you really look at what's going on, the music industry and the fashion industry is where you get the overwhelming flashings of satanic, demonic, occultic symbols, and just like it's so in your face, you can't even deny it here at this point. However, there are people who continue to deny this, and I'll get to them here in a second. But the video starts off here with Timberlake pulling up in this white car, and he's joining in this building that has a very, very weird aerobatic type of architecture to it, and there seems to be a party going on inside. So he drives up here and he walks into the door, and you see the imagery right away. Everything is in red. It's red and black all around. I've talked about this a few times on our shows. If you went to the Bible Lens podcast, I believe it's episode 30, when we talked about people selling their soul to the devil, and a few other podcasts, if you've been following, like the Bar Room and the Bible Lens. When you look at these Satanists, these Luciferian, I'm talking about people who, not figuratively or not pretend, quite literally, they worship Satan. You see that their go-to favorite colors when it comes to professing their demonic worship is black and red. These are very, very important colors in the symbolism for those who quite literally worship the devil. We're going to get to this here a little bit in a second, but so you're seeing here that this is a big party. Everyone's drinking. Everyone is making out. Obviously, this is a music video, so they can't really go any further than just making out. But I think it's even implied that, if this was a real party, there'd be orgies going on here and stuff like that. So everything is happening inside of this party. And you see Justin Timberlake here on the balcony, and he's basically looking down at like everyone else. So he's watching all these debaucherous acts happen. He's kind of above everyone. Somebody even pointed out here in the article that he's standing between two pillars, which is apparently a reference to Freemasonry. I haven't really talked directly about Freemasonry just yet, but we'll probably make that be a future episode of the Bible Lens, so look out for that one here in the next few weeks. And then all of a sudden he goes up to the bartender here. Once again, you're seeing more of the same. You're seeing more people wearing black and red. The colors are black and red. Apparently here over this bar, there's like two skulls that are being shoved into the bar here. You have to keep it in mind. People try to say that, oh, it's a coincidence, or oh, you're looking too much into it. It's like when you do these music videos or these movies or whatnot, you have to understand that they put a lot of effort into every single detail of a shot. So there's nothing that's in this video that's done by accident. And a lot of people are so naive, or that are so unbelieving, they convince themselves that there's nothing really greater going on here. You have to understand, when they put all this stuff together, when they're building this set and they're working on the lights and the colors and the drapes and the way that things look and the aesthetic, everything that's in a shot is there for a reason. It's not there by chance. It's not there by accident. It's not because, oh, there's no real meaning to this. They're doing this deliberately. So I said, there's two black skulls. There's black ornaments around everywhere, which is a hint of desecrating the resting place of actual dead people. Like I said, it's so in your face here at this point. And it gets worse because now you see, I guess this is his alter ego here in this shot. He's back on the pillars. Now he's wearing all black. He has black shades. Now he's taking another look into this crowd here, where he happens to find this one woman that stands out, engages his attention. This woman has a very androgynous look to her, but for some reason he's so enthralled with this woman, he goes down there to dance with her. And this is where things get very, very demonic, if it hasn't gotten there already. All of a sudden, all the women and all the people who are in this shot here, their eyes go completely white, go completely gray, whatever the case may be. They all look like they're under a demonic trance. And this is where things completely go haywire, because the woman here starts to sprout wings, just like if she's a fallen angel, or quite literally as if she's Satan herself. So she starts sprouting out these demonic wings. She already looks like a demon in the face of herself. And now everyone here goes back to dancing. They're all dancing on the same floor with this woman. You can't really make out exactly what's happening here, but as Justin is getting closer to this woman, everyone is surrounding him. They all have a complete demonic look all over his face. All of a sudden, the lights start sprouting. Everyone around him just looks like a demon at this point. And they're showing you exactly what's happening here. As Satan here, let's just be very clear here, this is a representation of Satan. As Satan here sprouts his wings throughout this crowd, everyone is dancing like they're in a trance. Everyone is giving worship to this Satan-like figure. The whole place turns completely black, and you just see, this demonic character roaming around here. And the next thing you know, this demon literally pukes black goo in the face of Justin Timberlake. So all of a sudden, he's sitting there in the middle of this dance floor surrounded by all these demons, and the giant devil angel here is puking in his face. And he just has like black goo all over himself. He's walking around. The imagery starts getting more intense, and he doesn't really know what's going on here. And it just focuses on him. And it feels like the people around him are trying to tear him apart or pull him apart. And it looks like we're in the middle of hell. Like some of the people, even in the crowd now, has like blood all over their face, and they either eating each other or like blood's being sprayed everywhere. And this is a music video called No Angels. And we're supposed to believe, and this is what the most naive people in our society will look at this with their own two eyes, and they will say, oh, it's just art, bro. Oh, it's just art. Don't look too much. It's just art. Or the other excuse that I absolutely love that they'll give you is that, oh, well, they're just doing this to get a rise out of you. This is a marketing technique. This is what they do to get a rise out of the Christians. Like everyone comes out there and does something about the devil, and then the Christians get all upset. And then, oh, this is just marketing 101. First of all, these people are just completely deceived. And like I said, I mentioned this in another video that I did fairly recently, where I talked about Sydney Sweeney and the Neon Demon. These are the type of people who don't believe. So because they refuse to believe, they have to continue to live in a world where Satan does not exist. Why? Because if they admit that Satan exists, Because if they admit that Satan exists, they have to admit that God also exists. They have to admit that Jesus Christ also exists. But they don't want to follow Christ. They don't want to believe in God. So they just reject everything outright. So no matter how much evidence you show right in their faces, they will stare at this with their own two eyes and go, oh, that's just art, bro. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. Because they don't want to believe. They don't want to believe any of this is real. They don't want to believe that there's actually a demon, a devil that controls Hollywood. They don't want to believe any of this stuff. So they'll continue to pretend like it's all art, that it's all for show. No one really believes any of this. And this is why the entertainment industry is getting so bold in doing this, because we've gotten to the point here in 2024 where we can show people this stuff right in their faces and they'll still deny it. They'll still deny it. Like I said, the devil doesn't need to hide anymore. He can appear right in front of you and you'll just pretend like he's not there. This is where we're at. So this is what you see here. And I guess the twist of this is like, oh, don't worry, guys. It's all just a video shoot. It's all, don't worry, guys. None of this is real. Yeah, no. As a matter of fact, the actual music video itself doesn't reveal this at all. Somebody else pointed it out. It's like, oh no, the demons were just actors, and this is just one big, art thing that we were. They're telling you exactly what's going on in Hollywood. This is what happens behind closed doors they don't want you to know about, right? They want you to believe that this is all in your head, that you're overlooking, that you're being overreaction, and then the next thing you know, you hear stories about Jeffrey Epstein or some other person who you weren't supposed to know. You'll hear about the name John Podesta. You'll hear about the name Marina Abramovich. You'll hear about the whole Diddy case and everything going on there, and they'll convince you that oh no, you're just looking too much. Oh, so you think that the Satan is actually controlling? They don't want to accept what's right in their face. And because of that, Hollywood is going to continue to do stuff like this. It's not just Justin Timberlake. You've seen it with Doja Cat. You've seen it with Lil Nas X and Sam Smith. And you've seen it with Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Madonna, over and over. Everyone. You've seen this with everyone. And because we live in a world where people refuse to believe in the truth, they essentially allow themselves to be deceived by what's going on here because they don't want to believe it. They don't want to accept this for what it is. They don't want to believe that their old sweet Justin Timberlake, who was part of that really popular boy band that they remember idolizing when they were children, that he's essentially a tool of the devil in 2024. They don't want to believe it. So they will tell themselves whatever lie, whatever cope they need to tell themselves with in order to continue to, continue to listen to his music and not have to be worried about being guilty of it. They continue to support his, they continue to buy into this industry that they know is evil. And to kind of wrap this one up, Andrew Tate, who I'm not a big fan of Andrew Tate. If you've seen my previous episodes of the Bible Lynch, you would know that by now. But Andrew Tate talks about this a few times, talk about this whole idea of karmic retribution or some nonsense like that, where he says that the reason why these Satanists are putting exactly who they are and what they do right in your face is because they believe that if they put it in your face and then you allow it, that essentially you endorsed what they're doing, right? So they take all the heat off of them. That's not why they do this. You have to understand the game that's being played here. It's not because they believe that by putting this in your face that somehow that's taking the heat off of them. What Satan is doing is that he's making what he is doing, he's making the evil that he is committing so blatant to the everyday person that when we all die, we're all standing into the judgment of God, and we have to essentially give account to how we lived our life, whether we chose to believe or not believe. We're not going to have the excuse that, oh, well, I didn't know this was real. I didn't know the God was real. I didn't know that. If only someone had told me, if only I had known, I would have followed it. If there was some evidence to show that I would have followed. What he's doing here is that he's making his presence so blatantly clear and obvious to anyone paying attention that it's you who doesn't have an excuse in the eyes of God for saying that, how come you did not believe? How come you refuse to follow Christ? How come you didn't acknowledge that what you were partaking in was blatantly evil? You won't have the excuse. You won't have the excuse that, oh, I didn't know, no one told me. If only, nope, none of that's going to fly. The only thing that's going to save you from what comes next, and what is coming next is coming sooner rather than later. The only thing that is going to save you from what comes next is believing in the gospel of Christ, believing in the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. That's the only thing that will save you from what's coming next, because I guarantee you, because the Bible said so, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And if you continue to deny what is happening here, very, very bad things are going to happen that you do not want to be a part of, but your unbelief will put you right in the middle of it.